Welcome everyone. Today's topic is how to increase your net worth by 1 million in less than 2 years. So today I'm gonna give you the secrets and the shortcuts, the blueprint of freedom. Any questions that you have throughout the presentation, please send them via the chat or unmute yourself, okay? So we're gonna make it very interactive. So my goal today is one simple goal. Guess what that is? To blow your mind. Okay. So in real estate, your competition to-do list, right? In real estate, you have three exit strategies. You wholesale, you flip, or you buy and hold, okay? So this is where your competition goes through in a maze that it takes forever. So my objective for all of you, friends, is just to go in a straight line. Whether you're gonna do wholesales, flips, or buy and hold, I wanna make sure that it's easy for you, that you have not only all the information that you need to have, but also all the resources, because remember, real estate is a people's business. I want to make sure that all of you drop your bicycle and start driving a Lamborghini today. Okay, having said that, I want to make sure that we have the fundamentals down. Real estate is a people's business, and if you want to be successful, you have to leverage from two things: other people's money and other people's time, okay? We're gonna go over the basic cash flow quadrant from my favorite book of Robert Kiyosaki. Let's just quickly go over the four quadrants, and where you need to be is the fourth one, okay? So the first quadrant, most people are on a W-2 1099, so they have a job. The problem with that is if they let you go or you quit, guess what happens to your income? It goes down to zero. So you're running on the treadmill. The minute you stop running, your income dries up. The next quadrant, self-employed. At this point, you don't have a job, but you own a job, okay? So the problem with this is that, guess what? You're still running on the treadmill. Example of these are flippers, wholesalers, contractors. What happens when they stop working? Their income goes down to zero. Not only that, but they're not building wealth, okay? There's no net worth increase on a yearly basis. Why? Because they don't own any assets. In essence, they're giving away, they're working hard, and they're giving away sort of like the golden goose. The means to achieve wealth in life is through owning rentals, okay? Quadrant number three, at this point, you're leveraging more from other people's time and money when you have a turnkey operation, such as a franchise. The problem with this is that it could be expensive to get into this quadrant. The fourth quadrant, this is where all of you should be investor, because at this point, you're not chasing money, you're making money work for you. What does that mean? When you own rental properties, you're gonna have people running on the treadmill for you, okay? These are your tenants, and they're gonna be paying for the mortgage, okay? Not only that, you're gonna have positive cash flow, so you can be relaxing when you own or you have a solid rental portfolio. The beauty about this is that you're 100% leveraging from other people's money, other people's time. So I just wanna make sure that you understand this is a different mindset. To be successful in real estate, you have to own real estate, okay? And don't get me wrong, you can combine strategies, right? So you can do flips and wholesales, but your primary objective should be to hold real estate. Why? Because guess what? If you have children in the future, if they want to go to college or you want to pay for their wedding, guess who's going to pay for that? The tenant. How is that going to happen? Because over time, when you build equity in your home, you can take out a home equity line of credit to pay for college, to pay for anything that you want. It could be a trip, it could be their wedding, and guess who's going to pay for that? The tenant. When they pay for the rent is going to cover the mortgage, the interest, taxes, insurance, and not only that, but they also pay for all the utilities. Here we're going to be focusing on single family homes, okay? So the beauty about this is that over time, not only are you increasing your net worth because property values go up every year, but also population goes up. So does the rents. So your cash flow per month will tend to increase on a yearly basis. So this is the quadrant where all of you should be, okay? So I want to give you an example of a property that we bought mid-December, so a couple of weeks ago in Cicero. So this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath property, about 1,800 square feet. This is shadow inventory, so banked on property, okay? So technically these properties are not for sale. This is what it looked like, the property before we rehab, okay? Boom, right there. Okay, so it didn't need much work. All we needed to do is paint, put new appliances, and that's about it. One of the unexpected expenses was we needed to upgrade the electric panel from 100 amp to a 200 amp panel. That was the only unexpected item that we had to cover for. So the purchase price on this property was 135. Now, the pictures that you saw up above are from the contractor. Once we got on the contract, I said, can you please go give me an estimate? I want to know how much it's going to be for labor and material. He told me, Hugo, it's going to be 8,000 labor and material. So we're just going to do primarily paint. We're missing a few mirrors, a little bit of plumbing, and that's about it. So, but in my mind, you know, we always have to have a cushion. Not only that, but appliances. Okay, so I was thinking about 10,000 to 15,000. So I'm gonna give you the secret sauce, friends, on how you're gonna be able to build a rental portfolio and recycle money, okay? So the rehab ended up being 12,500, okay? So all in is 147,500. So this property, once we did the rehab, which by the way, we completed the rehab in a week and a half because it was so simple. And these are the type of properties that you want to be looking after. Properties that are price-wise under 150,000 square footage. You want to focus on properties under 1,500 square footage. Anything over 1,500, your rehab is going to be high, okay? However, in this case, this was the exception because the property was in such a great condition. 3 years ago, a flipper did all the bells and whistles on it. However, the person who bought the property, unfortunately, lost it. So it went to foreclosure, and then we ended up picking this at 135, okay, from ChicagoDealVault. So now I'm going to show you how you're going to be able to have very little money down on the deal. When you purchase the property, since these properties are distressed, what it means is that they are not in livable condition. Like in this case, the utilities are shut off, like the water, electricity, gas. Not only that, but all the appliances, washer and dryer were missing. Okay, so these type of deals are not going to be financed by conventional lenders. So you have to use asset-based lenders, and there are two categories for them. You have either hard money lenders or private money lenders. So the main difference is that they're both asset-based. One is an institution, so hard money lenders are institutions and private money lenders are individuals, okay? Now, the commonalities between the two of them is that they both charge high interest rate. I've seen from 9% all the way to 16%. They are short-term loans. So they go from 4 months to a year, and they charge about 2 points up front, okay, when they go through underwriting. So a point is 1% of the total loan amount. So what that means is that they're going to help you not only with the purchase of the property up to 90%, but also what's really great about this is 100% of the of the rehab, which is huge. Because again, we go back to the fundamentals. You want to use other people's money, okay? In this case, we're going to be using hard money lender, okay? If you have access to a private money lender, that's an individual, and that is relationship based, okay? Or a hard money lender institution. But primarily they offer the same loan. So at this point, how much do you think we needed to put down for the down payment? As I said before, they're financing 90%. So 10% is about 13,500 plus closing cost. It's about 15,000, okay, that we have to put out of pocket to purchase the property. And then for the rehab, you have to create the scope of work, okay, that you present to the lender because they're going to fund 100% of the rehab. Now, let me tell you, they're not going to just give you the money for you to do the work. No, you have to do the work first. Then they're going to send an inspector and verify that everything is done. And once that happens, they're going to release the funds, okay? So this is the trick, friends. I knew based on the estimates from our contractors that we're going to spend about 12 to 15,000 on the deal. So now when we created the scope of work, we had to add a cushion because there's always unexpected. So let me show you what the scope of work look like, okay? So in the scope of work, as you can see, the bottom line, you add the labor and the material columns. I pretty much double it, 29,000, okay? Because I wanna make sure that not only do I have to have a cushion for unexpected items, but I also wanna make sure that the money that we put down for the down payment comes back to us, okay? So at this point, 29,300 was the scope of work. So we're gonna do demo landscaping, paint the cabinets, perhaps do some replacement of the hardwood floors. That was unexpected. Luckily, we didn't need to do that. HVAC, plumbing, electric. So these are the main systems in the property that you have to touch. Light fixtures, windows, they were all brand new. Bathrooms, all brand new. We just needed to put a couple of mirrors. That's pretty much it. Obviously, cleanup, it's can get sometimes expensive. So 29,300. Now, let's go back to the numbers right here. So at this point, we invested 15,000 for the purchase plus 12,500 for the rehab. So do the math. 15,000 plus 12,050, that's 27,000 and a half. Okay, so almost exactly what we requested as the scope of work. So guess what? When we completed the work in week and a half, I called the bank and then I said, we need draw inspection. So they'll send an inspector to make sure that we've done the work as per the scope of work. And they verified everything was done and they released the 29,000 and change. So what does that mean, friends? At this point, think of this. We purchased the property mid-December. Before Christmas, we had completed the scope of work. So before New Year's, the inspector checked the property. So by the first week of January, we got a wire for almost 30,000, which at this point was everything that we put down for the property, not only for the purchase, but also for the rehab. So at this point, we have zero money on the deal. But guess what? It gets better because then the bank will appraise the property, right? So now what's the after repair value? So it appraised at 225. So do the math. How much equity do we have right now on this property? $75,000. There's a question on the line. Do you do the scope of work yourself or do you work with the GC to create these? Okay, so we sent our GC to give us an estimate. So he told me, Hugo, it's going to be 8,000 for labor and material without the appliances. So for appliances, I was thinking we're going to spend 3,000 to 6,000 because we want to put a stainless steel fridge, stove, microwave, and also we need the washer and dryer. The previous owner pretty much took everything. So for that, you'll spend 4,000. So I was thinking 8,000 plus 4,000, you end up with 12,000 plus unexpected 15,000. So that was my estimate based on the GC's original quote. However, we ended up buying semi-used appliances. So they look brand new. However, they might have a dent here and there, okay? But instead of spending 4,000 in brand new appliances, we spent half of it, 2,000, actually 2,100. Okay, but again, keep in mind, this is going to be a rental. And that is why we love rentals, because when you do a flip, you cannot put semi-used appliances, okay? You need to do top-notch rehab if you want to command top dollars for your flip, okay? That's the big difference. So there's a little bit more pressure when you do a flip. Pretty much things need to be very close to perfection, okay? And I don't like that. So I like to have flexibility. Nothing is perfect. I just want to deliver a great product that somebody's going to live in, okay? Having said that, at this point, now we need to refinance. So I reached out to the lender this week. I said, now we need to refinance. So lenders want you to have at least 20% equity on the deal, okay? So this is what's going to happen. To pay off the outstanding loan, 135, and the rehab, all in 147 plus closing costs, we're looking at 150,000 because we need to pay the high interest rate short-term loan, okay, given by the Harmony lender through a conventional lender. So we want to turn that loan into a rental loan, which is going to be a long-term, 30-year term, lower interest rate. So we're looking at between 5.5 to 7.5 interest rate for the loan. So we're going to use a conventional lender to pay the Harmony lender off. So we're going to tap into only 66% of the ARV. Okay, friends? So how much do we have left? Equity, 76,000 or 34%. Are you following? You see the power of this. At this point, we have zero money down. Obviously, we had to come up with the down payment to purchase the property. And then for the rehab, we ended up using business credit cards, okay? By the way, if you have an entity, a corporation, LLC, you need to have business credit cards for your business. If you don't have any, send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com. We're going to send you the banks that are going to give you a business credit card, their website, phone number, so that you can apply yourself and save a 10% that a third-party company will charge you for the line of credit they can give you. So we use business credit cards to pay for labor, materials. We have access to cash advances. So that's how we use other people's money, in this case, business credit cards, to fund the rehab, which we're going to get the money back anyways from the lender once they've done the inspection and everything looks good, okay? So imagine at this point, we have 4 weeks later or 3.5 weeks later, we have recouped all our money, the down payment plus the rehab money, which we're going to use obviously to pay the credit card. So at this point, we have zero money stuck in the deal, and we have not done the refi yet, okay? So the refi is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. But at this point, you end up with a property that has equity of 76,000, okay? This is your net worth. Imagine, friends, if you do 10 deals of these a year, so you're looking at 750,000, but let's be more conservative because I consider this property like a home run deal. But assuming that your equity on the property is 50,000, imagine, do 10 deals a year. That's 500,000 in equity. In 2 years, you can increase your net worth by 1 million in 2 years, doing these type of deals in which you recycle the money, okay? And then you end up with a lot of equity. And guess what? Over time, property values go up. Therefore, your net worth or equity will continue to go up on a yearly basis. And guess what, friends? It gets better. How? Because this is going to be a rental. So the rent, we're renting the property for $1,875. We just put that on the market about a few days ago. Once we refinance the property, the principal, interest, tax, and insurance, or PT, is going to be $1,350. Therefore, the positive cash flow is going to be $525. So figure this, friends. Not only do you end up with 6,000 in equity, or your net worth has increased by that much. But on top of that, the tenant is running on your treadmill. So you're leveraging from other people's money and other people's time. So they're paying for your property. They're paying not only the principal, interest, tax, and insurance, but they're also paying for all the utilities, gas, electricity, and water, and also exterior maintenance, landscaping and snow removal. So you end up having somebody running on your treadmill, and on top of that, you cash flow about $500 a month, okay? That's where you need to be, friends. This is the fourth quadrant. So at this point, when we refinance, I'm gonna tell you something. We have the option for a cash out, because we're only tapping into 66% of the ARV. We can tap into up to 80% of the ARV, okay, when we do the refi. So, and there's no seasoning. You don't need to wait anything, okay? So imagine what's about 70, 80, 12% more. It's about 20,000, 20, 25,000. So we can, in addition to having 76,000 of equity, we can request a cash out on the refi for 25,000. So imagine we end up with 100,000, 75 in equity and 25,000 in cash, which obviously is going to decrease your cash flow, because your principal, interest, tax, and insurance is going to increase. If we cash out 25,000, then the principal, interest, and insurance is going to be about 1,550. So your cash flow will go down by about 200. So instead of cash flowing 525, you'll cash flow 325, but you end up with an additional 25,000 in your bank account, which, guess what you're going to do with it? You guessed it right. You can use that money for the down payment of your next deal. That's the secret sauce, friends. Make sure that you understand what I just told you right now, because that's how you can do as many deals as you want without having to worry about funding for money, okay? Just using the strategies that I just mentioned. I'm just gonna recap briefly what we talked about. When you purchase the property, you wanna use an asset-based lender. Two categories for them. You have the hard money lenders, which are institutions, or private money lenders, which are individuals, to give you the money for not only the purchase, but also 100% of the rehab. Okay, at this point, you're using other people's money. Then for the rehab, use business credit cards, because friends, you have to be buying these properties under your entity, not under your name. Okay, many hard money lenders and private money lenders are not going to lend money to your individual name. Why? Because if you default on the payment, guess what? They need to take you through the foreclosure process, which in Illinois can take up to 2 years. Because it's a judicial state, they have to go through the court system, bureaucracy, therefore up to 2 years. However, if the property is under your entity's name, guess what? They can foreclose on your property in less than 6 months. That is why you need to have an entity created, apply for business credit cards, which we can give them to you, the names, and then use hard money lender, private money lender. And remember, when you do the scope of work, you need to have a buffer for unexpected items, okay? And that's how you're pretty much leveraging from other people's money, you're recycling the money, and not only that, but you're cashing out when you do the refi, okay? All hard money lenders, private money lenders care about that the property has equity, that is gonna cash flow, and that the debt coverage ratio is over 125. What that means is that they want to make sure that the rent is going to cover PT, and you will cash flow 25% of the rent, okay? That's what it means. So friends, make sure that you understand this is the secret sauce of how you can build $1 million portfolio and increase your net worth by that much, okay? Now you have the option to spend that money, that cash flow, or ideally, you apply that 525 towards the principal. When you do that, you can pay this property off in less than 7 years. And that's the true power and wealth of real estate. When you have free and clear paid off properties, okay? You can accomplish that by applying the positive cash flow towards the principal of the loan, okay? Are there any questions? I just want to make sure that all of you understand these. There's one question. Don't you already have the harmony distribution of 29 that you can use for another rental before you even do a cash out? Of course, that's a great question. So we already have 29,000 that we got from the distribution of the rehab that we can use for another rental. So we don't even need to wait for the refi to cash out another 25. Absolutely, we can do that. So we don't need to wait. So imagine you can move as fast as you want. But the key, friends, is that you need to pick properties whose rehab is light to medium. What that means is that you need to do, you need to touch the floorings, upgrade the kitchen, bathrooms, light fixtures, and paint. That's about it. You are not putting a new roof. You are not doing new windows. You are not redoing the electric system or the plumbing system. You're not touching foundation. You're not redoing the mechanicals or the HVAC. Every time you touch a system completely, like the wiring of the electric or the plumbing, you're talking 10,000 each system, like HVAC, you know, doing the duct work, putting a furnace, water heater, AC, you're talking 10,000 each system, or new roof, doing new windows. So make sure that you focus on properties that are light to medium rehab, okay? Stay away from gut rehabs because gut rehabs are too risky. You need to touch every single system. You need to hire every licensed contractor that the village requires you. So you need to deal with more permits. So please try to stay away from gut rehabs. Okay, so having said that, the next step is how do you find these deals, right? Because now that you understand the secret sauce, how can you find these awesome deals? The answer is ChicagoDealVault. Okay, so I'm going to show you now. Let's go over to ChicagoDealVault. The key, friends, is in ChicagoDealVault, we have access to MLS properties and off-market properties. The biggest spread for profit are in off-market properties. So these properties are technically not for sale. They are owned by primarily highly motivated sellers who are going through either emotional or financial distress, okay, such as probates. Somebody passed away. Their heirs want to get rid of the property and cash out once they've gone through the emotional distress of the loss of their loved one. Then you have the ones who are in financial distress. So they went in pre-foreclosure. And then this is one of my favorite lead pipes, upcoming auctions. This is when the judge issues a date when the property is going to be auctioned off at the judicial sale at the courthouse, okay? You don't want to go to the judicial sales, friends, because this is where you can lose your shirt, because at that point, there's a room with sharks. You have to pay cash for the properties in 24 hours. You buy sight unseen, you overpay for the property. You don't want that. You want to intercept the properties 30 to 60 days before they go to the judicial auction. The benefits are that you can connect with the owner directly, you can fund the deals, you can see the property from the inside, and best of all, you have no competition, so you won't overpay for the property. You have bank-owned properties, so once they were foreclosed, then you can buy them directly from the bank, which is what we did on that one. In Cicero, vacant properties, wholesale deals, we have 63 active wholesale deals. So let's just find some great deals, pre-foreclosures. But before we do that, you might wonder, well, where are we going to buy great pre-foreclosures? Friends, in ChicagoDealVault, we give you the best rental markets and flipping markets, okay? It's so easy for you to tap into them. All you need to do is go in area reports, select the area type. So we categorize areas by A being the best, D being the most challenging. So these are the ones that probably you might need to stay away from because people think that your car is theirs, right? Even your safety is at risk. So we tend to stay in the BC areas because A, are too expensive. Therefore, the numbers are not going to work for for a rental, and flips are way too risky, right? Because a lot of money is at stake. So stay within BC area and then just select approach. If you want to do a flip or a cash flow, and then just click on search and boom, we're going to give them to you. So give me just the top rental markets. And then what I like to do is I want to sort by sweet spot to buy a detached or single family home. So we sort these by price. So the cheapest first to the more expensive ones. What you need to look at is the median rental income, okay? So the higher the income, the better the rental market. In this case, look at Allsip and Berkeley, okay? They are still within a 150,000 price range, but yet the rents are very high, 1,800, 2,100. We can do exactly the same for a C market. I'm gonna sort these by property price, and then I can go to the next page, and then we're gonna find some properties still with under 150,000, and the rents are, let's say 1,500. This catches my eye. That's Stone Park. You also have Broadview, still under 150,000. C areas, C plus areas. So let's just find some awesome deals in pre-foreclosure. So we're gonna select Broadview as an example. It's Broadview. We said Allsip, Berkeley, and that's it. So the cool thing about these, friends, is that you don't want to go after all the pre-foreclosures. You want to filter them by high equity. You just want the ones that are home run deals. So what does this mean? That means that high equity means the owner owes very little money on the property, but yet the property is worth quite a lot. So I'm going to sort by high equity in those three areas. As you can see, we have over 35 pre-foreclosures, and we only found 23 home run deals, okay? Why? Because they are high equity, okay? If I remove this filter, it's gonna go up from 23 to 259 pre-foreclosures in those areas. So you don't wanna go over every single property because some of the properties are gonna be underwater, which means that the owner owes more than what the property is worth. So you wanna skip those all together. Therefore, this filter is magic, okay? It's just for you to cherry pick the top deals. So I'm just gonna randomly pick this deal in Broadview, okay? So here, why is this a great deal? This is a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. The first thing that you need to look at is the location, okay? Location, you need to make sure you are not on top of the highway, busy streets, next to cemeteries, rivers. It looks good. You can click on Street View. It looks pretty decent, right? So you can toggle back and forth. And now, why is this a great deal? Because the owner owes $52,000 on the property, and the property could be worth between $175,000 to $200,000. So they have equity of about $150,000 on this property after it's been rehabbed. So it's huge. But now there are some liens right below. We have a lien by the IRS for $23,000 and another one for $225,000. So we need to add $23,000 onto this amount, which was last computed last September. So 52 plus 23, we're looking at about 75 plus fees, 85,000. So imagine, friends, even if we can buy these for a little bit over 85,000, but yet less than, look at this, the max offer price for a flip is 106. So if we can buy this property, pay everything off, the 80,000 or 85,000 with all the penalties and fees, and then we can give 20,000 to the homeowner. So 85,000 to satisfy the debt and 20,000 for the owner. So that's 105, which is exactly what you should pay, no more than that, to 106 if you want to do a flip. So look at these, friends. The rental, if you want to keep it for a rental, it's a more forgiving offer, 124. Always, even if you want to do a rental, please make an offer as if you were going to do a flip, because if you change your mind and you want to flip the property, you want to have that option, okay? But guess what? If you paid 124, the flip is out of the question. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure that you pay no more than 106 for this property. And the assumption is that we're going to put in the property a live rehab, light to medium, between 20 to 30,000. Obviously, you need to see the property from the inside, but when you analyze a deal, these are the three numbers that you need. How much is it going to be worth after I do the work? How much is it going to cost me to do the work? And how much should I pay for the property? In 5 seconds, you see these three numbers right in front of you, friends. That's how you should be able to analyze a deal. So the next step, well, now we found pre-foreclosures, we found 23 awesome deals. Well, now that I found this deal, how do I make it happen, right? To make it happen, friends, you need to reach out to the owner because they are still entitled to the property, even though they're in pre-foreclosure. So we're going to give you, when you click on the owner's name, we're going to run a skip tracing system, okay? So we're going to try to find out their contact information so you can reach out to them directly via email, text, or a phone call away. So in this case, we were able to pull, look at this, all the phone numbers, even the email for Jackie White, okay? So it's as simple as picking up the phone and giving her a call. So in fact, I'm so tempted, friends, I'm gonna pick up the phone and give her a call right now. So I'm gonna just dial the first number. My objective is to tell her that we're a real estate investor, that we're interested in buying, we're buying properties in Broadview, and we want to buy 3 properties in the next 2 months. And we can make her foreclosure go away. Not only that, but we can help her settle somewhere else. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to dial the first number, 630-312-0008, okay? I'm going to put it on the speakerphone. Hopefully she picks up. No one is picking up, but I'm going to leave a message if there is an answering machine.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice
I'm going to leave a
messaging
message.
system. 630-312-0008 is not available. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time.
Okay, unfortunately, the mailbox was full, but I mean, you can go to the next number and the next one and the next one. So we give you several cell phone numbers until you get a hold of them. Okay, but that was just an example. Let's assume that I was to get on the phone with her. I would say, Jackie, my name is Hugo, and I'm a real estate investor. I realize that you're in pre-foreclosure. We're buying properties in Broadview, and we can make that go away. Can we meet tomorrow, 10 a.m. or 2 p.m.? Which one would work better? We have a solution that we can make it go away and also help you relocate. So hopefully we'll get an appointment, and then the objective is to get it on the contract. Okay, so to get it on the contract, we even give you the contract. You click on make offer. It's a 2-page contract that it's even already pre-filled with your information, the property address, even your signature. Very simple, non-invasive, non-intrusive. Once you get it on the contract, that's all you need. Because at this point, you can either send that, you can wholesale the property, you can proceed and send the contract to the lender, as we discussed earlier, to do a buy and hold, or if you decide to flip it. But the key, friends, is to not pay more than $106,000 for this property. Obviously, you still need to see the property. The good thing about these deals is that, you know, they're in livable condition because they're still in the property. Okay, so it's not going to be a go rehab. It may need work for sure, but it's not going to be a go rehab. It's not an abandoned property yet, unlike vacant properties. So that summarizes, friends. I want to make sure that you understood the secret sauce, okay? So use asset-based lenders to pursue distressed properties. You have the option to use a hard money lender or private money lenders. In Chicago DealVault, we give you access to over 6,500 private money lenders. You can filter them by city. We also have preferred partners. So we give you access to over 80 people that we use, from contractors, appraisers, inspectors, attorneys, brokers, to help you be successful. I want to make sure there's nothing on the way for your success. And friends, once you purchase a property, remember, you need to have 10% down at least, but the lender is going to fund the rehab. Keep in mind, you need to pay for that up front. How are you going to do that? Remember, business credit cards. Send us an email if you don't have business credit cards. Okay, that is so critical. So these are the preferred partners. We have over 80. We have the private money lenders, over 6,500. You can filter them by anything. Now, there's another question. How is the rehab calculated if the property is not vacant? I can send and can't send the GC to do the estimate. So imagine that so the question is, how can we get an estimate? You need to see the property from the inside. So once you connect, let's say in this case with Jackie, and make an appointment, you're going to walk the property, and then you're going to take a lot of pictures. You understand what needs to be done. You can send those pictures to your contractor, or you can have your contractor come with you to the appointment, right? So that he can take a look at everything and give you a quote, because you do need to have access, see the property from the inside, okay? So great question. So friends, remember, once you do the rehab, then when you create the scope of work, remember to put a cushion for unexpected, and then you can obviously have that money replenish your down payment. And when you refi, you have the option to cash out. So you're gonna have two ways to pretty much make money, or have no money on the deal for sure, at least, and then cash out. And then you can do this over and over and over. So it is that simple. And guess what, friends? We're gonna do something really cool for all of you. We're gonna make we have 3 people on staff full-time. All they do is exactly what I show you. They find amazing deals on the areas you are interested in, and we're going to make those people available to you. All you need to do is when you sign up tonight, we're going to make them available to you. Call them your Alexa. So you're going to tell them, we call this program Alexa. Alexa, find me awesome deals in whatever areas, as many areas as you're working on. And we're going to do the research for you. Not only that, but we are going to analyze the deal for you. So we have rental down below and flip calculators right here. We are going to run the numbers for a rental to see what your monthly cash flow is going to be and your net profit for a flip would be. We're going to give you all that. We're going to pull comps. We're going to do the whole 9-yard analysis for you and put it in your inbox. That's all included when you sign up tonight. So another question is, can you repeat how to obtain credit cards? Just send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com and ask for, I'm typing this, business credit cards. Okay, I'm going to send these to everyone. So send us an email and we'll send you all the banks that give business credit cards for your entity. That is so critical, friends. Again, because we're leveraging other people's money, other people's time. Once you rent the property, then you have a tenant running on your treadmill so that you can increase your net worth, okay, over time to 1 million in the next 2 years. That's our objective. We're going to give you the tools, the technology, the resources. We're sharing everything. In the last two and a half years, friends, I was in your shoes. My wife and I have accumulated 27 rentals, and we've done 3 flips in the last 2.5 years. So we're sharing all our resources, technology, secrets, pretty much the blueprint for freedom for you to replicate.